All right, so today we're going to talk about the top 10 retail stocks that were bought by us, the retail investor, and are we finally moving away from our ridiculous ways of having some crazy stocks in the top 10? Well, it's not perfect, but we look to finally have our heads moving in the right direction at the top of this list, but there are still some names that just baffle me as to why we are buying these stocks. So let's discuss the good and the bad of these stocks from a long-term buy and hold investor's perspective, and I'll let you know whether or not it's a stock that I would be interested or not and why. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get today. And like we discussed before, I left the biggest discount ever for my group open until this weekend, guys. For those of you guys that asked about it, asked me to hold it open a little bit longer, I left it open there, so check it out. It's the pinned comment down there. We'll talk more about it at the end. All right, so remember up front here, and I still get comments every single time I make this video, so I got to continue to make the disclosure. These are not my stock picks. These are the top 10 stocks that retail investors are buying for the month. And guys, I wish, if you guys want to see a top 10 list of myself, put it down there in the comments down below. You know, if we got enough comments there, maybe we'll do a video like that. But I'm telling you guys what we are buying as retail investors. These are you guys' stock picks overall, all of us as a whole, all of our stock picks overall. So it's not my top 10 list. And remember, I'm reviewing these from a long-term buy and holders perspective. There might be a trade there. This might be the greatest traded stock in the history of sliced bread, but I am coming at it from a long-term buy and hold investor's perspective. Is this a stock I want to hold long-term? Do they have great financials? Do they have a great management team? Do they have great growth rates into the future? All those type things like that, or things that I'm judging these stocks from, not from a trading perspective or an options play or any of the other ridiculous stuff that's out there. It's not how I'm viewing it. There's other channels for that. I'm sorry, it's just not the way I invest. So therefore, it's not something I'm really going to cover from that angle. All right, so on to the first stock, and that's Meta. This one right here is one that baffles me because it was marching towards the top, towards the top of the list, and then it fell all the way down to 10 and almost fell completely off the list. I understand it's been on a great run like a lot of other stocks have, but when you see some of the other stocks that are ahead of the stock, it kind of leaves you kind of scratching your head like, why would you not want to own Meta? This is 100% a pump it for me. It is a great stock, great management. They have a huge long runway ahead. They haven't even really monetized WhatsApp yet, and who knows what else Zuck is cooking up in the lab over there. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I mean, there's been very, very few CEOs that have executed on the level that Zuck has over the past, couple decades or so. And I guess pretty close to, well, we are over a decade, getting up that second decade there. Sorry, I know he's not likable. I don't particularly like the guy either, but I try to not judge him in terms of personality and his goofiness, but in terms of what he does with Meta and Facebook and all that other good stuff. And he has routinely made that into a cash flow beast. It is just a great company, great stock. He can burn billions on the metaverse. It doesn't matter. That's how much money they print. And it's just a stock I'm going to hold now. I'll probably continue to hold in the future. Of course, I hope we get another opportunity to buy it really, really cheap. But in the meantime, this one versus some of the other ones on the list, I don't know what the heck we're thinking. This one should be much higher, but hey, we did better on some other picks. So I'm not judging us all the way around here. We did good on some. This is one we definitely missed on this time around. So stock number 9 is GameStop. Again, I don't know why this one's ahead of Meta. I have no idea. It's GameStop. I got it. It's part of the movement. Hey, it's a meme stock. It's whatever. I know they try to peg every stock that we like as a meme stock. I don't do that. But GameStop, definitely so. I have no idea why this one's ahead of Meta. Again, could be a trade there. No idea. Maybe there's the ultimate squeeze is finally happening after 4 years. I don't freaking know. I'm not into any of that sort of stuff. But to me, not a good management team. Haven't executed well. Don't see a bright future for the business long term. But hey, it's one we want to continue to pile into, so I've got to put it on the list there. But for me, it's a complete dump, and I want nothing to do with it. Number 8 is Disney. This one kind of, I guess it baffles me, but for a completely different reason. Disney has business problems. They've had business problems. They're trying to fix them, but it is a long road ahead. So there could be some arbitrage there. Maybe that's the play that we're thinking of as retail. But you have to have caution with the stock because this sort of turnaround is not easy and it's going to take a lot of time. So although I own a little bit of this stock, I was able to buy it down in the 70s. It's not one that I'm just willing to just put a whole ton of money into, like apparently retail's willing to put a ton of money into, because they have business problems that are hard to turn around. And I need to see more from management before I put more money towards that stock. So it's kind of one of those stocks to where I think you just need to be very, very cautious with it. Obviously, I'm optimistic on it, but I also got a great entry point as well. And that made it a little bit easier to buy the stock as opposed to where it's trading at right now. You're definitely taking on more risk at this level versus some of the other levels you were able to get it at earlier. So stock number 7 is AMC. Again, this one surged forward. It went up the list. I have no idea why. Again, I love going to the movies. I hope AMC is successful. I don't have bad experiences whenever I go to the movie theaters or anything else like that. But in terms of the stock, there isn't a whole heck of a lot there. I'm sorry. I know there's always the apes that always, one, the $100,000 per share squeeze, whatever is not happening. If you hadn't figured that out by now, I don't know what to tell you. Secondarily, everybody keeps telling me they had this great thing and the great that, and I go look at the financials, it's like, not really. So I don't know what the play is here outside of, some sort of a Wall Street bets type of trade or something else of that nature. Otherwise, I just don't see a whole heck of a lot there. Hey, they want to buy gold mines and all kinds of other goofy things of that nature instead of, actually focusing on their core business and making it better and figuring out a way to, get more profits out of the business itself. I don't know. Just one I'm not interested in right now. It's one that's definitely a dump it for me. But hey, other folks want to play other games. Maybe there's something there. I just can't speak to that. Number 6 is Microsoft. This is a great stock. It's absolutely a pump it for me. I don't know why it's not higher on the list. Definitely should have beat out the one that's coming up next here, but it didn't. Hey, again, it's one of those things. Understand it's not really a fancy stock. It's not a flashy stock or anything else of that nature, but you'll quickly notice, Palantir, which has had a ridiculous run, is not on this list at all. It doesn't even rank in the top 10. People are still buying more AMC than they are Palantir. Obviously after this run, I can see it being, obviously the sky high valuation is really, really hard to buy. I would agree, but we had no interest in it at $7 either, $10, $15, $20, you name it. It hasn't made this list once. But, a stock like Microsoft, which is a great stock, does make the list. But again, it's still lagging some of the other names that are on this list that really shouldn't be that high. Now, the good news is as we kind of get here into the top 5, you absolutely start seeing kind of some things getting corrected and righted. But Microsoft is one. It's a pump it for me. Understand the valuation may be a bit stretched right now, but it's a great company, a great long-term stock, and I absolutely would own it over number 5, which is Ford stock. Now, I was happy to see this one fell from like number 2 or number 3 to number 5 this time around. So we got it right. We're slowly kind of moving it. It was getting ready to take over the number 1 spot. That was kind of the momentum it had prior. Why? I don't know. Again, maybe there was a trade there of some sort. I know some folks were discussing that last time we did this video in the comment section there. But for me, absolutely a dump it. I just don't. Automakers in general just aren't great businesses overall. They may have some good quarters. They may get some momentum in terms of a trade. We've talked about that before. But when I think about, 5 years from now, is that a stock I want to own? And am I going to make a lot of money on that stock over the course of the next 5 years? I just don't see a lot of growth coming out of Ford versus a lot of other stocks that you could own on this list. So thankfully it's falling, but we need to kind of keep pushing it down the list per se. Number 4 is Amazon. I'm not going to argue with this one and where it's at the list. Absolutely a pump it for me. Buy it on any weakness that you get in Amazon there. Great business. They just execute on such a high level. They run that business efficiently. Now, yes, it trades at a high multiple because they put more money back into the business than most businesses do. They could easily spin off more profits, but they put it into buying more factories, buying more robots, buying more warehouses, getting into other things, such as they're dipping their toes into healthcare now and a lot of other things. AWS was a joke. Oh, what's Amazon doing? Why are they doing that? They're just messing around. They're blowing their money, killing the stock. I don't know. AWS is absolutely crushing it and a giant profit center for Amazon now. And that kind of tends to be what they do. So there's a lot of things cooking in the background. That's the reason why the numbers don't look even better for Amazon than they currently do right now. So for me, absolutely pump it. Absolutely a great stock to own. I'm buying it on any weakness. And it's a great stock all the way around. Number 3 is Apple. Well, you guys know it's my favorite stock. It's a pump it for me. I would say be cautious. It is still trading on the high end of the valuation scale. It's definitely been not only a retail favorite, as you can tell here with where it's ranked, it's also institutional favorite as well for safety. It just kind of seems like everybody loves Apple. I understand Warren Buffett sold out of a lot of it there. It'll be interesting when we get kind of the final take on all the different reasons why he ended up doing that. But it's still an institutional favorite. It's a retail favorite. It's a great company. Yes, they go through lull periods like this. They went through a lull period in 2016, 2018, and now here we are again in 2024 going through a lull period again. Tell me what happened during those time frames and how it eventually ended up coming out of the other side. Trust me, it was dead before. It wasn't innovative before. All these other narratives that you hear around it. Again, as a 20+ year shareholder, been hearing it the whole time, and it just hasn't held true so far. And for me, it's definitely a pump it. But again, you got to use caution because you are paying a premium for the stock right now. So number 2 is NVIDIA. Now this one had a huge jump up, so again, it's been a great stock for almost 2 years now. It's been maybe the best stock in the stock market there. So it absolutely deserves to be at the top of this list. They are executing on a high level that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And there isn't, at least, I can, looking out the next year, maybe in the next 2 years, I don't see it slowing anytime soon. When you have the biggest of the biggest companies spending billions of dollars and basically kissing up to you, trying to get access to chips faster than, their competitors or whatever the case is, you have something very, very, very special going. So it absolutely makes sense to own this stock, buy it on any weakness. Great company, incredible execution. Will competitors eventually catch up? I'm sure that they will. When is that time frame coming? I have no freaking clue. And it doesn't mean that Nvidia can't pivot in the meantime or continue to move along with those competitors as well. So for me, absolutely a pump it, great stock. And I'm very glad retail is moving this stock up the list as opposed to having it fall down the list like it was doing prior. So stock number 1 is Tesla. Well, I mean, Tesla's pumping, so it makes sense. This one right here coming back up to number 1 again. That stock being Tesla. Just kind of the way that it moves, it's always been a retail favorite. It always kind of hovers in the top 5 or so in regards to retail favorites. If you're paying attention this year and you were really doing your valuations and really doing your price targets and taking all those factors into account, man, you're sitting on a massive, more than a double up just this year on the stock. My buys were 169 and 142 respectively on the stock, and that's exactly what I executed to this year. And you got that just a few months ago, and you've been able to just enjoy this right up instead of FOMOing into the stock or something else of that nature. Nothing moves like Tesla. You don't get any sort of other roller coaster out there like you get with Tesla. I would agree it is trading rich right now, but it's Tesla. So how rich? Hard to tell, right? Impossible to tell. Wall Street can get really silly like this one, like we saw in 2021. We're not there yet. We're not even close to that yet. So please don't go down there saying this is the same as 2021. We're not even in the ballpark yet. Let us get to the ballpark. Then we can start discussing that. Is trading a little bit rich right now, but we'll see what the next earnings call has. That's kind of the key to, are we actually trading super rich, or are we just paying a little bit of a premium for Tesla? We won't be able to tell that until we get next year's guidance and we understand what those, that guidance specifically is going to be in terms of margins. Are we going back to 30% growth rates formally, guidance on earnings, or does he change it up something else? What does that new model entail? There's some excitement, some buzz. Is that going to be it? Is that not it? Who knows? But this is what Tesla does. Be ready for the roller coaster if you're going to buy this stock regardless. So for me, absolutely a pump it, great stock. Glad we finally got a top 4 there that I really, really like. And let's see if we can kind of improve this list next time around. And if you want to see those buys on Tesla in real time, learn exactly how to do evaluation, how to do due diligence, get price targets, see my complete watch list of price targets, see all my buy and sell alerts in real time, be able to get free coaching, free courses, access to the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, and so much more. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there. I left the biggest discount ever for my group open for those of you guys that requested it. So make sure you take advantage before the price goes back up. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.